that. And Mike Bishop is on the other end of our AT&T line right now. Thanks for being available.
Sure. Good to be here. Good morning.
It's very interesting because Eric Schertzing is obviously well known and entrenched in the Lansing, Ingham County area. And though you did a lot of your work here, you're more entrenched in the sort of, I guess, Auburn Hills, Rochester area up that way, right? I mean, so does this come down to Ingham County versus Oakland County, with Livingston being in the balance? Livingston is going to sway it one way or another. Do you think it's that simple?
Well, I think there's a lot to that. True enough, he's been in the Ingham County for a while. I've been here in Oakland County for a while and made a name having represented the area. But I've got a pretty good statewide footprint given my experience in the Senate Majority Leader's office. I think probably the most important part in terms of outcome of the election will be somewhere in the middle, the Livingston County area, and so I think you've got some merit to your argument there.
But nevertheless, for those listeners who are in Ingham County and Lansing and so forth, where we've been used to very frequent visits by Mike Rogers, he's got a very strong presence here. Will you also maintain a balance? I mean, it's a big swath of the district when you're going back and forth to Washington and so forth. And for those who would be concerned that they wouldn't get proper representation in this section of the district, can you assure them that they will?
Yes. In fact, the first thing I did when I started to run for office was I set up shop there. I set up my headquarters right in Livingston County so that I was closer to Ingham County and the Livingston County area that I didn't know as well. And I intend to do that in the future as well. I want to spend as much time as I can back in the district doing what I need to do, which is to ensure that I'm serving the customer, the constituents, in the way that they need to be served.
Yeah, sometimes we try to put things in boxes, and just as I did just there, is it Oakland County versus Ingham County, that kind of thing. But
right.
You want to reduce government regulation, and your opponent says, well, we're never going to bounce back until we reinvest in roads and bridges and infrastructure and education. So is that another sort of Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, put you both in boxes? You're in reducing spending, reducing regulation, and the Democrat opponent is in reinvestment and spending?
Well, I think I always get a charge out of that term investment, because all that means is taxing and spending more, and that's taxpayer dollars. And I have had this conversation before with Mr. Schertzing, and we did the other night. The difference between the two of us is that he thinks the solution to what ails this economy is more investment, and I think it's reducing the size of government to allow the private sector to grow and prosper. Because I do believe that this private sector is about ready to really do great things. But most of us, and I can say most of us because I'm there right now, I'm in the private sector, I can say that we are ready to invest privately, but we're not going to because of the doom and gloom of big government, Obamacare, and all the other regulation. So it's time the government get a hold of itself and scale back and get out of the way of the private sector. And I do think that's the biggest difference between the Democrats and the Republicans right now. To put it in a box, that's the argument. They believe in more investment, a.k.a. taxes and spending, and we believe in cutting back the size of government.
Your opponent is saying you want to privatize Social Security. Is that true?
No. All I said was that we owe it to our younger generation to find a way to do better for them. And we ought to be finding ways to allow our younger generation to invest in their own future. And we certainly do not want to defund Social Security and take away something from our seniors. It's a scare tactic that is used by the Democrat Party to try to suggest that I want to kick the seniors and the retirees off Social Security and rob them of their future. And I have no interest in doing that. I just would like to see our younger generation grow up with some hope for a better life, and they should be able to do more with their own money. And I will support measures that would continue to fund Social Security to ensure that our folks that are out right now, or that will soon be on it, are funded, But at the same time, I want to give options so that the younger generation has a chance.
I'm looking at a piece of your campaign literature, direct mail piece that came. That's quite the Mount Rushmore you have on there on the brick wall. You have President Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Jennifer Granholm.
Yeah, well, it's peas in a pod, and they're very close in terms of philosophy.
And
I'm always shocked that the state would think about moving back towards the Jennifer Granholm regime, and that's
well, it's would-be Congressman Mike Bishop. He's running for Congress. He was a state legislator during the